So I'll kindly request Joki Waburo ukuje utuelezee who is this who is coming to speak to us na umwelcome ili asikie ako nyumbani. Karibu sana. Tupigie Joki makofi tafadhali. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Pastor. Bwana asifiwe. Hallelujah. Nipungie mkono. Bwana asifiwe. God is good and all the time. And that is his nature. Wow. I'm well this morning. I'm blessed and I'm delighted of the Lord. I'm born again. And it feels so good to be in the first service. It's one of my very rare appearances. But I thank God for giving me this chance and opportunity. I'm sure most people who do first service might say, leo kulikuwa na mama mgeni aliongea. Lakini sio mgeni. It's only that I work on Sunday mornings. I never manage for the first service. But at least for today, I made it this way. I'm standing here on behalf of JPRC. It's a group in church that deals with so many things, especially things pertaining to the law and justice and all that stuff. And I wish first to take this opportunity to appreciate the CBM and the session, of course, for giving us such a quick chance to have a talk today. I know we have been talking about finance bill yenye ambayo watu wanasikia tumbo hua. Sijui mafuta, sijui housing tax, all these things. Na wakati mwingine tunachanganyikiwa kidogo. It is the responsibility of JPRC to see to it that we have someone who can enlighten us, someone who can give us highlights, someone who can make it easy for us to understand what it means, what it is, not against it, but just to give us some good information that we may be able, tukisikia huko maneno kwa news, tunajua wanasema nini. And I'm honored to have invited my friend very fast by the name John Miano. And Miano ni mtu wa mahesabu sana. Na nashukuru kwa sababu ameweza kufika with the blessings of course of our Reverend Wamugonda. We talked to him yesterday through the CBM chair and he is aware of this. And so if you allow me, I will invite Miano to come and take us through a presentation of about 10 minutes at most. Ndio tuweze kuelewa, si ndio? Tumesema ni nini? You know, the finance bill has gone through all the stages of the National Assembly. But before even we know it, the court decides otherwise. Hizo mambo zote za kuchanganyikiwa ndio tunataka tu. Jaribu kidogo tu ndio tuweze kuelewa. Watu wathome tukuange mbele, sio kusikianga tu maneno ikipita tunaweza moigwa kwero atia. Hapana, sisi ni watu ambao wamesoma sana. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Karibu sana Miano. You are 10 minutes and God bless you. Thank you for accepting my invitation.
Kanisa, Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Mungu asifiwe. Mwathani agocwo. Praise the Lord Jesus. My name is Miano Dirango. And your reverend looks like somebody who preached to me last Saturday in Githega. Sure. And he did preach good. Of course, now you know I am one of PCA members. I come from PCA, Ragati Parish, Nanyuki Church. But ile tunaita Kehumo ni Githega. Now you know your pastor was preaching to me. Na aliacha amenicite wa mama huko. That is not what brings me here. As I said, my name is Miano Dirango. I'm a CPA. CPA ni watu wa mahesabu. And many people don't like CPAs because even in your business, we come to dictate what you will do. Sometimes we may be boring, but I'll not take more than your 10 minutes. because so many people we have met, and I want to make myself clear so that Reverend, watu wasianze kuongea na mamaring. The badge I'm wearing, people have questioned that badge. People has asked me whether I'm a member of LGBTQ. And it is good that you clear the air. Where I come from, we say a vehicle without a number plate is stolen. So that badge is for SDG champions. SDG means sustainable development goals. So I'm an SDG champion. I felt it was good to clear the air because there is a place a pastor called me, Nyuma Hema. So I thought it is good to clear. I am the immediate former director of the Kenya National Trading Corporation. It is also important that I clear the air. Former director. Former director. Because I know that is what is trending now. Well, I joined KNTC. It is important that you know my background. I was given 600 million shillings, which I was able to triple to 2.3 billion in a period of 1.5 years. And I was advanced a line of credit of 24 billion. And now that is the money that is trending. But as soon as that money landed into KNTC accounts, my shareholding went down. So I'm glad and I thank God for that opportunity to serve. And I was able to prove myself what I would do and my capacity. I come here to talk about the finance bill. Everybody is talking about the finance bill. And it is important that we ask ourselves, what is finance bill? Or what is this Munyama called finance bill? Many people have asked whether it is right or wrong about finance bill. The finance bill will come with implications. Of course, it is going to raid your pockets. And it is important you know how to panga yourself. The first question, because we're in church, we ask ourselves is taxation godly? Because finance bill is about finances. The things about tax, people have asked, I think it is in Mark. I'm not a preacher, but there is that verse you always quote, that give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. But that was not about it. That was about, if you're able to cope with the worldly people, please do so. But taxation is in the Bible. And in Romans chapter 13, we realize that the Bible tells us to submit and to honor the authority. We honor them. So, sometimes people asked and went to Jesus and asked them. Some people went to Peter and they asked him, do Jesus, or rather have Jesus ever paid tax? In Matthew chapter 17, we realize that Jesus, when in Capernaum, he said and he answered that yes, the collectors of 2 Dutchman tax came to Peter and asked, doesn't your teacher pay the temple tax? Yes, he does, he replied. So, in principle, we agree as Christians that we must pay taxes. And while at it, the Bible also cautions the authorities that they should not take more than the law tells them to take. And in so doing, when they want to take more, like when they want to increase fuel from 8% to 16%, because the law does not allow them to do so, they must come with something called a finance act. Tuko pamoja? I hope we are together up to that point. So this is where the finance bill came about or came from. What is a bill? A bill is a proposal. You know, even in this church, when you want to build, when you want to come up with a hall, there is a proposal. The committee will sit down and they will propose that we have thought it is wise that we come up with a hall. So that is just a bill. It is a proposal. Then it is taken through to Parliament. When it is taken to Parliament, it must go through the readings. And when it goes through the readings, then it becomes an act. An act is a law. That is why, and we have agreed that if the authorities cannot tax you more than the Bible or than the law allows them to, they must go through the process for the process to allow them to tax you more. Finance bill or finance act becomes law when the president appends his signature, or rather when he puts his signature. And by so doing, you cannot question, unless now you go to the courts and try to, to turn that law, and the courts will interpret. In our constitution, it is chapter 12 of our constitution that allows the government of Kenya to tax. Now, this finance bill, the things like the fuel levy, the housing levy, it was not in the constitution, and that is why it had to go through Parliament for it to become law, and now for it to be subjected to the Public Finance Management Act. We call it the PFM Act. Chapter 12 of our constitution, part 3 of that constitution talks about the revenue raising powers, because not everybody, your reverend here cannot stop you on the road and tell you he needs you to pay taxes. Yes, he is an authority, but he cannot. Anybody, a policeman cannot stop you on the road and tells you to pay taxes. So who do we give these powers? So we give them to the National Treasury, and it is the executive through the Cabinet Secretary for Finance. And there are so many taxes. We have income tax, we have value-added tax, we have custom, and we have so many other taxes. But because I'm here to talk about the finance bill, I am going to take you through the repercussions of the now finance bill that so many people have been talking about. We go to slide 9, and this is where now the nitty-gritties. This is where now the information that you need to know is. We have the new rates that have been enacted. The new rates are going to affect either your pocket or your business. Let's talk, for example, about the new NHIF rates. We all know that we have been paying for about 500 for you to get medical services. And I should have mentioned that government takes taxes, or rather collect taxes, so that it is able to manage your affairs. Because all of you came to church, you used a road. That road was constructed by government. You go to hospitals, whether it is private or whatever, but a hospital essentially is managed. Because if you go to a hospital and you are injected the wrong medicine, you are going to run to the government or to the officials to tell, oh, please, these hospitals, even if it was a private hospital. So the government takes your taxes, because it is important to know that government never does any business. The only agency allowed to do business in government is the Kenya National Trading Corporation. That will do imports on behalf of government, and it doesn't make profits. Whether it made profits around this other time, it is a discussion for another day. But it is not supposed to make a coin, a profit. The work of government is to take money and use that money to offer you, to render you services and infrastructure like the roads. So when government takes this money, it caters for all these needs. Whether it does to 100% or to your satisfaction, again, that is discussion for another day. But when it is now coming to increase the NHIF rates, it feels that maybe, the cost of living goes up every now and then. Suppose now we are not living in the 1970s or 1980s. Yes, there was no tarmac, but then the price of bread was, I think, just a few cents, right? So we must cope up with the cost of life, and it is worldwide. Because we cannot continue to live in the 80s, yes, where we are buying bread for 80 cents, but again, the road from Nairobi to Thika is all bushy. And there's no infrastructure development. So we must agree that, yes, life goes high. Again, also, we agree that developments are coming. So when NHIF increases, so we expect a replica of better services of the same. And because I don't want to make it complicated for you, I'm just going to give you figures, simple mathematics, 1 + 1. I am not going to bring in formulas and those accounting terms. I want to be as simple as possible. I want you to get this out of the finance bill, what it means to you. You own a car, for example. If you own a car, initially you are only paying for your fuel, and we are going to talk about fuel, and you are going to pay for your insurance if it's a private car. And maybe if you have a commercial vehicle, say a PSV or a small car lorry, you pay for advance tax. But that has been reviewed. If you own a car, the finance bill, when it was finance bill, now it is law. It is now a finance act. So it is law. And law is a must, is mandatory. It means that you are going to pay for 500 shillings per passenger for the entire month. Let me break it down for you. You own a small car, a salon car. Its carrying capacity is usually 5-seater. 2 in the front, 3 at the back. Maybe you carry 4, but essentially it is made to carry 5. You are supposed to pay 100 shillings per month for the entire capacity. That means you pay 500 shillings or you pay 6,000 shillings annual subscription, whichever is higher. Okay? Whichever is higher. The government will always take whichever is higher. That means you are going to pay 600 shillings annual subscription for your 5-seater capacity vehicle. If you own a commercial vehicle, for example, you own a pickup that ferries Waru from Nyandarua, from wherever to Nairobi, you are supposed, or the law initially was requiring you to pay 1,500 per ton per entire year. That is 1,500 for the full year times the number of tonnage. For example, you own this car, a lorry, a small lorry called 33. Watu wa Pandei wanapenda kuita ka 33. You used to pay 4,500 for the whole year because it is 1,500 times 3 tonnage. So it is 4,500. That has been reviewed upward, or rather, the government was asking you to append. And we are going to talk about public participation. That is supposed to be part of, when the government is about to enact any law. It has been reviewed to 3,000 per load capacity. That means you are going to pay double. You are paying 4,500 or 7,500. Then you are going to pay either 9,000, because now it is 3,000 times 3, or if it is maybe 7-tonner, then you can do your maths and see that you are going to pay 21,000 shillings. That is for advance tax. This is now where the maneno is about turnover tax, TOT. All of you comes from businesses or from employment. There is something you do for a living. It's either you are paying VAT, if you are registered for VAT and you have ETR, electronic tax register machine, or you are in a business that pays for, because we come from different sectors, like if you are producing water, you pay for excise. If you are producing wine, you pay excise. So, there are different tax bands from, if you are, for example, if you are in media and you are doing this, we can see media nowadays have come up. Yes, there is the betting tax. It has also been reviewed. If you are doing YouTube, you are also going to pay for digital tax. But because many of us are coming from maybe a business, there is like a business you do somewhere daily, it means if you are going to collect, or if in your monies, in your kiosk, you are coming from a certain kiosk, and in that kiosk, you buy and sell. Of course, there are those people who supply you and then you sell. You touch, not you make. This is not profit. You touch 1,370 per day. Then it means you are going to pay a 3% tax on that. On the turnover. Turnover in Kikuyu is to say, kuhorani ya besha. You know? For example, you own a motorbike. You own a motorbike. Let's just pick a motorbike because that is famous now. And you do so many trips. Don't bring maneno of I fueled, sijui I went for service. You do so many trips to Nairobi and back. And in your pocket, you have 1,370. This money you should fuel tomorrow morning before you start work again. You should go home with something. But if you ever find yourself done business and you have 1,370 shillings, then you are going to pay 3% tax on that money without removing koruta your expenses. Don't count fuel, don't count all those. Don't count even your credit. That is basically turnover tax. And you have seen people come knock businesses, especially maybe hardwares, for those who have ETRs, and you are told that these are your sales, so you have not remitted 14%. 14%, and this is usually VAT, it is usually purchases, you remove your income, then you pay the 14% on profit. That is basically what it means. There are so many others, but of course I'm cautious of time. There is about the housing levy. So if you're in employment, initially there was no housing levy. You are contributing in your various schemes in your offices. But now the government demands that from every pay slip, 3% will be deducted that will go to housing levy. Houses will be constructed. Again, the formula of allocating that houses, it's a discussion for another day. We cannot exhaust this. Finance bill had 17. And as we are going, I'm going to leave this information with you. We had 17 clauses or 17 new amendments that were coming up. And this was essentially to fund the budget. Because as a country, we have a budget, education, health, and all this. So day by day, if we get time, and maybe we are going to print this so that you have this information with you. You know, if you are below 24,000, initially there was no pay as you earn, and that is why many of you business people were putting your employees under 24,000 so that you don't pay on them. Now there will be pay 15% of any coin earned between 1 shilling to 15 shilling. Of course, we agreed that we must support our government to work, but while at it, I leave you with this word. Reverend, allow me to use this word. I know I'm in PCA, but there is a word, PEFA. PEFA is a church, but it could also mean public expenditure and financial accountability assessment. It is your work as a citizen. As you get out that tax out of your pocket, you are also going to call out on the government and to keep the government in checks. Finally, I would want to thank you for giving this chance. We could not exhaust this in 10 minutes, but we are going to engage. If you want me to come in your smaller groups, maybe your mama, youth, or something, I could be available on the number that will be projected. And so I'm going to bring these small nitty-gritties information. I thank you, and I thank the PCA Church that has always given me this opportunity to explain to our people what it is to pay taxes. And taxes are not unlawful, and taxes are godly. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Miano. You know, I usually host him on radio. Na kuna kitu nilikuwa nasema nataka anijibu kama mimi nalipwa 500,000 na silipangu hivyo. Hata mkiangalia kwa record ya Tide sio hivyo. Kama nilipangwa 500,000 niongee tu na PQ. Mdosi wangu nimwambie wewe toa 1,000 nikuje 499. Si nitakuwa safe?
Hautakuwa safe because as your tax bands comes down, then the government has another way of getting you. Probably you are what we call the rates will go up. And I didn't want to talk about those discussions and the nitty-gritties of now the balancing of the hesabu, but taxes will be equal to everybody. Hata ukiwa chini, then the money you are going to, the percentage, you know, if you are tall, we cut a third of you. And another one is short, we cut a third of that person. Essentially, those people have lost the same, you know, it is the same margin. Thank you so much. 500,000 and above, you will pay 32.5% of your pay. 800 and above, you are going to pay 35%. And that is why I even said between 1 shilling and 24,000, you're also going to pay taxes. Because many employers were doing what now you wanted to do. When they were all doing the payroll of 24,000 so that they don't pay pay. But now you're going to pay 15%. And so many other.
Thank you. Taxes are godly, but we keep the government on check. God bless you. Asante sana.
Amazing. We are so